The Ink and Paint Club podcast is intended for mature audiences only, so don't tell your parents! Listener discretion is advised. You're listening to the Ink and Paint Club podcast, your weekly home for animation reviews and discussions.
Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of the Ink and Paint Club podcast. I'm your host JD, and holy crap, you're back, Kyle. You're back.
Back. It's my miraculous return.
Holy crap, it's been like months.
Has it?
Yeah, I think it's been since like May or something. You took the summer off.
Time flies when you don't care.
I guess so. But yeah, Kyle's back, and we missed you greatly.
I doubt that.
I did. I was very sad. We were all sad. Post in the comments how sad you were, everybody. But yes, this is the Ink and Paint Club podcast, and we're going to be talking about a new Netflix show by Kyle's favorite animator creator guy, Matt Groening.
I've got like 60 other favorites beforehand.
But he made The Simpsons.
Yeah, and they have more bad episodes than good episodes, so.
And Futurama.
Oh, that one's a little more even.
Yeah. So anyway, yeah, Matt Groening made this new Netflix show, and we've done suburban family life, we've gone to the future, and now we're going to high medieval fantasy. Because we're talking about Netflix's Disenchantment.
You could have said past, present, and future.
Shut up. I was trying to be a little more poetic with it.
That sure worked. Anyways.
Yeah. Fuck you. So yeah, this is a show about, it's got a wayward princess who doesn't like to play by the rules, and then she's got a little happy-go-lucky elf companion, and this weird, like, demon creature who is always in, he's always seen from a side view, which I think is weird.
You think it's weird when they drew demons like that in many drawings?
I guess.
Like literally ripped from the art?
Maybe. I don't know.
Just saying.
Yeah. But there's a lot of shenanigans going on, and I guess there's like a big mystery going on, and you know, because it's Netflix and
on mystery.
Yeah, kinda. So, Kyle, you're the big Simpsons fan. What did you think of this show?
I did not like it at all, honestly. I think it was pretty awful, to be completely honest.
Sure. I honestly don't think you're in the minority on that.
It's just modern Simpsons has this way of writing. They have a way of doing humor, and it's kind of what they did in this. I did not think it was funny. There was only like a few bits that made me laugh out loud, but I mean, when you have a comedy and it's not even funny, it's already failing its first job right there.
Yeah, I can pretty much agree with you. I didn't totally hate this. I think it got better as it went along, but I will fully admit I almost fell asleep watching the first episode.
I just saw someone...
Like, in the middle of the day, I almost fell asleep.
I just saw someone describe it as the reverse Samurai Jack, where it was awful in the beginning, and then the last 3 episodes were good.
I guess. I don't know. I think like incrementally it's better. But yeah, it has a pretty rough start. Because and again, it got better as it got along. My biggest problem with the first episode is I felt like the action, because they try to balance between like, there's a lot of comedy, but occasionally they'll have like, characters fight because they live in like a medieval fantasy world. But the fights feel like there's no impact to them at all.
Just stiff.
It's so stiff and
no impact at all.
Yeah, and this is such a weird nitpick because it's like the first time I've really noticed it with anything is the sound design was just like almost not there.
A lot of people were complaining about it on 4chan because they were saying that closed captioning was saying like the crowd gasps, and then like that never happened. It's stuff like this. People are like, maybe they just blew their budget. Who knows? But
I guess, but it's like there's not sound effects for like certain things. Like there was a part where like Elfo and his girlfriend are just running, and there's like no sound to them running.
Yeah.
Yeah, but then there's the thing where they have sounds like during the fighting and stuff, but even the sounds like don't indicate a big impact. It's just, it feels so light. I guess the way I can put it.
I mean, yeah, it's kind of a small nitpick, but it's still somewhat big.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just, for me, this was absolutely nothing special. I mean, how many movies have we had for a while where it's like, oh, this is a princess, but fuck traditional values. I'm going to do my own thing. Like, that's dime a dozen now.
Disney has a show on right now that is exactly that.
Well, not only that, but Brave exists, and that was like the whole thing. I don't want to get married. I want to do my own thing. It's just okay.
But yeah, the base setup of the show is kind of cliche, but they try to, with the different characters, they try to differentiate it from all these other things. But yeah, it kind of just falls into that.
And then we talked about it before too, where it's like you have a character like Elfo, where first episode he's like, oh, I don't want to be happy all the time. I just want to be depressed. And then the next episodes he's like happy as shit.
Yeah, they never address that ever again.
It's just a complete different character. It's so weird.
Yeah. And then like Lucy the demon shows up and there's literally no explanation for why.
Well, there is, but they never.
Well, yeah, he is sent as a wedding gift to Bean, but they never explain why he was sent there. He just is.
Well, no, they cursed her or something, and that was the whole thing. But then they never go into that shadow society. It's just something about a huge orgy.
Something like that.
Yeah, they just want to make a joke out of it. So it was just really, really dumb.
Yeah, and like it's Matt Groening, so he's gonna get another season of this. And this show was really banking on getting another season, just like the way the last few episodes go. Like you're wrapping up a 10-episode season, and there's so many questions that just like have little to zero answer on, and then the season just kind of ends. Like I don't think that was like a satisfactory ending the way it ends.
No, it was awful. But yeah, they banked too much on like, oh, we'll just explain it next year whenever it's over with.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying they have to explain everything, but like I would like them to explain a little bit, so I like have some reason to be invested.
I think that's what hurts. That's what hurts it in a whole thing is I don't think. Well, with Futurama and The Simpsons, they've never had this giant continuing storyline. They brought up what's happened.
Well, even then, it's like it is, but it isn't serialized. Like things do kind of carry over from episode to episode, but at the same time, every plot is its own thing.
Yeah.
If that makes any sense.
The only time they've done something like that with The Simpsons is Who Shot Mr. Burns? Or
right, like a 2-parter episode or something.
Yeah, or bringing up stuff that happened in the movie, like the direct season afterwards or something like that. But I don't know. I think that's where it hurt. It hurt the show.
Yeah, and I honestly think it kind of, a lot of the problems for it is that Matt Groening is he's used to writing episodic.
You keep bringing him up, and it's like, I don't know how involved he was in this.
I know he and some writer from The Simpsons developed it.
It said him and Josh Weinstein, and it's like, I saw his name a couple times, but it's like he wrote the first episode, but I don't know if he wrote like anything else after that.
Yeah, I have no idea. I mean, I assume he's like supervising. He's the showrunner, I would assume.
He's just there.
So he's making the decisions.
He's there to collect his check.
More or less. But I think a lot of this stems from The Simpsons and Futurama were very more episodic shows, and then you got people who worked on those shows moving over to Disenchantment now, and they're writing more for episodic rather than how Netflix is usually structured, where each episode should run right into the next one. Where this really doesn't feel like that.
Yeah, it says right here, he only wrote the first episode, and it's tagged with another person. So it's like,
yeah,
I don't know how much he was in there. Shows he hasn't directed anything. So that's pretty interesting.
He's probably just an executive producer, and you have to run things by him, I guess.
Probably. It says right here. Oh, that's another thing I don't like either. It's the whole fantasy world. It's just such a broad thing that you can write. And they make the most obvious jokes, and I hate it so fucking much.
Like what?
Well, it's just like, okay, you have this fantasy world, and you can do like Dungeons and Dragons joke, Lord of the Rings, you can do Game of Thrones. You know what I mean? It's just such a broad thing where you can even throw like the Brothers Grimm stories in there because it just somehow fits.
Yeah, and that actually kind of threw me off a little bit because, like, pretty much everything is like an original character, but then like actually Hansel and Gretel show up for one, and it's like, okay, that's kind of weird.
Yeah, but I think that's another thing where they make a bunch of obvious jokes and it just really dumb. I'm honestly surprised they didn't make a Gollum joke of someone's my impression.
Oh, give them time, they might.
Yeah, because that's like the most obvious stupid fucking joke, and I really don't like that. But that's just how the writing is in this. And then I think I brought it up to you last time too. He's on record saying that the main character is like this big feminist type character, because that's what it says right here in the Wikipedia. It has a very feminist point of view, and she's inspired by all of the strong women in Matt Groening's childhood and stuff, his life. And it's like she's the shittiest fucking character, and all the women are the worst characters in the show. It's like, is that really the message you want to put out there?
Yeah. Yeah, you kind of hit the nail on the head when we were talking about this the other day, where the main character Bean is just written as like this person who's constantly trying not to be a fuck up, or like admitting that she needs to stop being a fuck up, yet continues to be a fuck up the entire show.
Yeah, and that's what it is. You have this serialized show where the plot keeps going into each other, and the main character is like, fuck, I need to stop messing up in life. This is bad. And then the next episode, she's fucking up again.
Yeah, it's a serialized show where the status quo is returned every episode.
It makes no sense.
More or less. But I mean, yeah, it gets a little better going on. I started to become a little invested in it a bit. I'm still not sure if it's like this is the kind of show I would want to keep watching. But I feel like as it develops its world a little more, it gets better. But you were talking about like how it's like a fantasy world, and I don't even think they take full advantage of that. Because you don't really see like a lot of weird creatures a lot of the time. It's just very infrequent, and the world feels kind of empty, to be honest.
Yeah, it's just forest.
Because
it's forest, city. That's it.
Pretty much, yeah. There's not a lot of locations going on here, so you have this vast fantasy world that you could be playing around with, yet they kind of stay in like a small handful of locations.
Yeah, there was the whole desert area and the sea, but still, how empty is the desert? How empty is the sea?
Right. So it's I don't know.
I don't know. I didn't really like it, but I like Eric Andre. I thought he did that.
Yeah, I did want to say that at least the voice cast is pretty good.
I don't think
because Eric Andre is the demon, and then a lot of people who have been on basically a lot of the Futurama cast got carried over. Like John DiMaggio, Trace McNeil is on here. Maurice LaMarche shows up a few times. Billy West is a couple different characters.
Yeah, I don't think the main character Bean has a good voice at all. I don't think she does a good job acting. Or not.
Well, yeah, I think she's from that show Broad City. I've never seen it, but it just sounds like she's playing herself.
Yeah,
which I mean, Eric Andre kind of is too, but I think his works better.
Eric Andre is a fucking prankster demon, and he's just playing himself.
But that's what he does on his show. So
I was showing Ari a clip where they brought a bear in for a guest to interview.
I really need to watch the Eric Andre show. Everyone tells me it's great.
Yeah, same here. But they're just like, oh, he's a real life bear. They're like, this isn't safe, is it? They're like, nope. And I think it breaks his desk and he flips out.
Oh my god.
It's just not much to say about this show. It's just
that's the thing. I mean, they have so many like really contrived plot lines. I mean, there's that one episode where it's like Elf was like, "Oh yeah, I totally have a girlfriend," but it's just like it's that girlfriend from Canada joke.
Yeah.
And then she shows up, and then he has to like lie his way through that. And at the end of it, it's like, I can't believe you lied to her. Blah blah blah. And I'm like, yeah, I haven't seen this story a million times.
That's the thing too. They have this really dumb fucking thing of will they, won't they? And it's wow. They really need to just address it like Gravity Falls. Like, yeah, it's never gonna happen, and just move on from there.
Yeah, like with Fry and Leela, it was fine. I don't know, because I feel like they had that sort of chemistry, but like with Elfo and Bean, like I don't see it. Like I don't get why they're trying to push it as a thing.
Yeah.
It's like, why can't they just be friends and like it not be weird?
Yeah, it's about, oh, I don't want romance, and then they're trying to shoehorn that in there.
Yeah, like Bean's entire thing is like she doesn't want to get married to some prince or something and have that. She just wants to drink and live her life.
Speaking of the awful writing, well, you remember the whole party episode, right?
Mm-hmm.
Look, my biggest problem, and I'm just like, why is this not even? Why is this a thing? It's like they're like, oh my god, we have to clean up before Dad gets home. And there's a bunch of dead bodies everywhere, and they're like, oh, just stuff them in the chimney. No one will care. And they have a giant trap door on the bottom.
Yeah, why don't you just shove them out there?
It's just like, I don't get it. It's so dumb.
I mean, that's like I was saying, man. They have this entire world that they build up, but they never take full advantage of it.
No, they really don't. And it's just like, there's not many likable characters in this show. Like,
everyone's kind of a dick.
Yeah, is someone gonna go, you know what? I really like that fucking wizard.
I guess, yeah.
I like that man with the 3 eyeballs. And then you get Futurama. I mean, Futurama is a great example where you can go like, man, Professor Farnsworth is really funny. Or you can go, yeah, I like Zoidberg. Or you can even go on The Simpsons, where they have like over hundreds of characters.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. Those two shows, their main cast is memorable. Like, everyone has a very distinct personality, and you can find something to like about every one of them. I'll be honest, I don't remember what the names of the wizard and the three-eyed man are. Like, I never remembered what their names were.
And I mean, I didn't fucking realize until maybe the last episodes what the king's name was.
Yeah. He's King Zog.
This really feels like a forgettable show. It really does.
Yeah, and even like the character design isn't like anything amazing.
You got Goblin Bart.
Goblin Bart. I don't know. I feel like they've got this fantasy world, and everyone's like clothing options are pretty like standard Renaissance fairy. They don't like go very crazy with it at all. Like all the knights and stuff are pretty basic knight designs. I don't know. I feel like they could have. I just feel like they had a decent idea, but they could have gone so much further with it. Like, if they just pushed it so much further, it could have been, a good show. But I think for what they have out right now is just like, I don't think this was a good first outing.
Nope. It's just Simpsons 2.0, where Matt just drew everybody on a napkin and was like, "This is what I got. You guys work with it."
I mean, maybe. I mean, I'm sure it was something along the lines of Netflix is like, "Hey, make us a show," and he's like, "Fuck, I got 5 minutes. Here you go."
It really does feel like, I don't know, just looking at it cynically, he's like, "Well, I've done past and present, so we should do," you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It just feels like that, where, "Oh, we should go to the past. We've done future before."
Mm-hmm. So.
What an awful show.
I'm still in the camp of it's not completely awful, but it's just kind of forgettable.
I'm at like 85% awful.
Yeah, I'm kind of like at maybe 60%. In the sense where I didn't walk away completely hating it, but if they never made any more, I wouldn't be upset about it.
Yeah.
That's kind of where I'm at right now. But if they make another one, maybe I'll check out another couple episodes and see if it gets better. So who knows? Who knows what the future might hold?
I think the best character was the laughing horse.
The laughing horse.
That's all I got to say about it.
Yeah. So there you go, guys. We talked about Disenchantment 2 weeks after it came out, so we did it.
There you go.
But yeah, so yeah, Kyle's back, and he'll be back forever. Hooray. These are good times, everybody. So yeah, that's all we got to say on Disenchantment. I'd be very interested to know if any of you actually thoroughly enjoyed this show, and it could explain why. Again, this show isn't completely 100% terrible, but what's good about it?
Find us some positives.
Yeah, help us out here. Throw us a bone. So yeah. That's all we got for this week, and we guess we'll just catch everybody all next week.
Whenever we figure out what it'll be.
Oh, I know what we're doing next week.
Oh, I
don't. I'll tell you eventually.
Okay.
Alright, bye everybody.
See ya.
Thank you for listening to this episode of the Ink and Paint Club podcast. Be sure to subscribe to the channel so you can catch a new episode every week. Also be sure to follow us on our Facebook and Twitter so you can keep up with the show. Links are in the description. We'll see you next week.